Welcome to the podcast with wings, the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Strap yourselves in while host David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams take you on a flight around the country, sourcing winners and the latest news on the big two meetings in WA, as well as the Meadows and Wentworth Park. The boys will be joined by East Coast experts Jaycin Campbell and Corey Smith. We'll pass on mail from some of WA's top kennels and get to know our industry members. You're at the pointy end of the plane for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set.
Hello and welcome along to the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set for another week. David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams teaming up for another big episode. Hello, Train.
Hello, Shorty. How are you? Hello to all our listeners out there. Very big weekend of chasing coming up, Shorty. Heats of the WA Bred Championships on Saturday night. Really looking forward to them.
Yeah, most definitely. Some very, very good chasing there. And, of course, the $1 million chase, we will be catching up with Jaycin Campbell very soon and having a look at this wonderful program there at Wentworth Park on Saturday night. And we have got 8 of the qualifiers, the $1 million chase qualifiers. Top 2 going through to the next phase of the $1 million chase. And, of course, that big final on Friday, the 18th of October. $1 million up for grabs. It's going to be some race there. Look forward to getting Jaycin Campbell's thoughts. No Meadows program on Saturday night this week, but we have got Bendigo Cup heats, and we'll be catching up with Corey Smith a little bit later on in the program. He'll give us his thoughts for that card at Bendigo. Also, Bones Harmon with the latest at Darwin. And our VIP industry guest for today, absolute treat. She's one of the great ladies in our sport, and we speak of Jodie Jennings. She'll also be catching up with us a little bit later on. All of that, plus the Kennel Mail. Lukey Townsend's chimed in, and also Damien Credelli have forwarded on their thoughts for a busy weekend of chasing here locally. Train.
Graham must be still on holidays, is he?
I would have thought so, yes, absolutely. Now, what's caught your eye for this week is, of course, what we kick off with. Last week it was the AFL Grand Final. This week it's the NRL Grand Final, and what a burster it promises to be.
Yeah, Shorty, 100%. Being from New South Wales myself, always a day that I look forward to. I really don't think it's going to be a bigger blowout as what the AFL one was. These are the two best teams, and I think they're going to go to war on Sunday, and I think it'll be a great Grand Final. Any know on who's the halftime entertainment is for the NRL Grand Final?
I actually don't.
No, I don't know either. They've had some rippers in the past.
They had Bliss and Esso a couple of years ago when I was tuning in for the halftime entertainment.
What did you make of Katy Perry? Good?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, she's
such
such an expert. And it's not just about the day, right? For me, it's about are you prepared to buy in and promote the game as well as yourself? And she was on 3 or 4 TV shows. She was on radio. She was really invested. She was very upbeat. She kicked the footy around a few times. Like she that stuff's optional almost. Yeah. And she bought into that. For me, I'm a big rap on her. I think, I don't necessarily go and buy her albums or love her music, but the fact that she's come here and she hasn't just taken the money and nicked off. She's played the part. I like that.
She looked fit. Jesus hell. She's a bit like you, in good condition. Melbourne Storm to win the grand final. I just think Nathan Cleary been under that little bit of an injury cloud. Obviously, they're going to test him with that shoulder. So, good luck to both sides. But for me, it's Melbourne Storm.
Train, the kid Leroy is headlining the 2024 Telstra Premiership Grand Final Entertainment.
He's right up your alley.
I'm not familiar with much. I must admit, I don't know that I'm too familiar with his work, the kid.
I think he done a song on the Matty John show, I think, last year. Yeah, about might have been the opening for the season or something. Yeah.
As a young kid growing up in Sydney, I'd drive past the Rabbitohs training at Redfern Oval, dreaming of playing rugby league and making music. Now I'm going to have to pinch myself playing my music in front of a roaring crowd at the rugby league fans on grand final day. It doesn't get much better than that. So the kid, he grew up in Redfern, and I had a few friend of the family, Arnie Ray. She was 94. We used to have we went and had a few pots with Arnie Ray at the top of the hill there in Redfern, the Somerset Hotel. They used to have a dog in there. There was a cockatoo on the bar that would come and eat the nuts out of the bowl there. Rough as guts it was. And but Arnie Ray, she's a big rabbits lady. She took us to the Rabbitohs RSL and had a few drinks there. I've got a soft spot for the Rabbits, but they were appalling in season 2024. I'm going with the Storm as well. I just think Craig Bellamy's an amazing operator, and he's got a side that's there ready to go. But I wouldn't faint if Penrith got the job done. They're such a big game outfit. There's a number of these players leaving at the end of this season. They've been there and done it. I think they've won 11 straight finals.
Yeah, they do it. I don't know how they do it. Well, like you said, they've lost players to other teams, but they still bat up and make the semi-finals and the grand final. But just touching on the Melbourne Storm quickly, obviously now with their Greyhound affiliation, they bought a slot into the Phoenix. I know there's a few boys in there. Ryan Pappenhausen, namely one, is very keen on the Greyhound. So, for that reason, if you're sitting on the fence, follow the Storm because they've got right behind ground racing and bought a slot in the Phoenix this year.
Oh, isn't that magnificent? We spoke to Corey about it. I think it's just for a big time Australian sporting operation to throw their money and support behind a greyhound race, a slot in a greyhound race it's a really, really big deal for our sport.
Yeah, I think we get tarred with the bad brush all the time, Shorty, and as a trainer, when you go out and you meet someone, you don't really like to tell them what your occupation is because of the bad rap we get, but for a sporting team as big as them to come out and support greyhound racing, that makes me very happy and
proud.
Yeah, and proud as well. Yeah.
100% to be associated with a very, very successful sporting operation like they are the Melbourne Storm. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's very little separating them in betting as well. I think the Storm 187 and the Panthers 197. Have you got a pick for the Clive Churchill?
Yeah, I'm going to go Cameron Munster. He'd be one of the favourites, but he's been out most of the season with an injury and he's had 3 or 4 runs back now, so he'd be right at his peak. I don't know what price he is, but obviously Jerome Hughes is the Dally M player of the year, so he'd be up there as well. Normally, as you know, Shorty, in these grand finals, the playmakers sort of get a lot of the credits and that, so I think it could be one of them, or even Pappenhausen as well. I know there's 3 there, probably the 3 favourites, but yeah, Ryan's owned a lot of grounds. Actually trained a dog for Ryan Pappenhausen going back a few years, Shorty. You might remember her, Absolute Ruby.
Yes.
She was one of them syndicate dogs from Sandown, and Ryan had a share in her, so it was actually good to get a winner for him.
Absolutely. And there's some pretty cool specials, TABtouch specials for account customers on this game as well. The first try scorer money back plus 30% profit plus, so you can get a 30% profit plus on top of what the price is if your player scores the first try. But if they don't score the first try and go on to score the second or third, money back up to $50. That's nice. And the other is they've got a couple of others there. The fullback fill up, either listed fullback to score a try is one of the options there at the price lock at $3. And Clive Churchill medal, 50% profit plus. If you can find the Clive Churchill medal winner, 50% profit plus on top of your winnings there as well. So if you do like to have a bet there on the NRL Grand Final this weekend, get around it with TABtouch. Account customers, head to your specials and exclusives section on your TABtouch account and get involved there this upcoming Sunday for the NRL Grand Final. Good luck to everyone playing along that's tuned in to the podcast this week. Train, let's rip into the chasing for this weekend. Friday night, Mandurah. Should be a really good program of chasing. We've got 13 up for debate. I must admit, I found it a very challenging program. I thought there were a lot of very open races. What have you come up with?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Shorty. I'll read tonight's card. I'm going to kick things off race 3, number 1, Princess Mila. Down in grey big time for this, and if you're looking on paper, just does look a bit of a class above. Has run as quick as 22.40, which was 4 starts ago when it was runner-up behind Curious Georgia. And like I said, it just looks better than them on paper, Shorty. Very hard to beat. Price is a little bit fluctuating. There's a couple of markets around there now, and it's back out to black figures. So race 3, number 1, Princess Mila to kick us off. I'm also hoping it's a big night for Ben McLean, Shorty, because I'm going to tip him again in race 8, number 1. It's very stiff last start up at Northern, all but crossed from the wide draw, and I think Ben's face was about as amused as mine, Shorty, when Stevie Manelli punched up and held it out at the first turn. She's never led in her life, and Ben's just looked at me and I've looked at him. She was all but over there, and she probably would have won the race if she got over Min Smiley. Goes into box 1 for tonight's assignment, where she's got a really good record from boxes 1 and 2. And this does look an open race, and I think I've seen $7 or $8, Shorty, so we can play her on the each-way basis. Race 8, number 1, Min Smiley. And then very, very deep into the card, Shorty, the last race. Race 13, number 3, Tweak Freak will be my best bet. Looks really hard to beat in this race. Been coming out of the Mandurah Cup final where she was down the track but didn't have a lot of luck. Back to this grade 4-5 company. She's got good speed. She'll roll forward, and I just think she'll be hard to beat. He looks a class above. Shorty race 13, number 3, Tweak Freak.
All right, very nice indeed for the train there on Friday night. We've got 3-1, 8-1, 13-3. Ryan Levitsky will be calling all the action there tonight. He agrees with race 3, number 1, Princess Myla. She's a pretty popular pick tonight down there at Mandurah. Race 5, number 3, Hurricane Taylor. One of the easier races that it's run into for a pretty significant period of time there, Hurricane Taylor. And he also rounds it out with race 8, number 1, Min Smiley. So 3 plays for Ryan Levitsky. Race 3, number 1, race 5, number 3, race 8, number 1. And Jesse Ehrenshaw's thoughts for the big program there this evening. He is kicking things off with a race 4, number 4, Electra Opal. So 4-4 Electra Opal, one for Adam Smithson that looks to have a bit of upside, young greyhound that did win its maiden recently. He then teams up with race 8, number 4, Pad Up Declan. Also, like myself, thinking that it can show good pace out of the boxes and play a part off some good recent northern form. And he rounds it out with race 9, number 7, Fancy That Fred. Speedy beginner, handles a wide draw, no problem at all. And looks to be a good, solid chance this evening. So for Jesse, race 4, number 4, race 8, number 4, race 9, number 7. For me, I'm kicking things off race 3, number 1, Princess Mila as well. Recent form's good, gets the inside, should be able to punch up, hold the rail. From there, run around that 22-4 range, and that should be too good for these. Race 3, number 1, Princess Mila. Race 8, number 4, Pad Up Declan. Like the way this dog's been going of late for Pete Brown, and just needs to get the start right. Respecting number 1, Min Smiley. They look a pretty nice Quinella play in the race, but I'll go with number 4, Pad Up Declan on top. And my value play and roughie of the weekend are race 12, number 7, Liberty Star. This greyhound opened up at $54 this morning when we were doing chasing winners. That to me just looked a silly price, and many punters have agreed because it has since gone right off. It is now into $12 and $3.20. The 34 was nicer, but at double figure odds, we can absolutely make that our roughie of the weekend, and I think it can run a really nice race. When you break down the recent form, it was a winner 4 back in sub 17 seconds, which is really moving. Since then, it's been placed behind Rex Hunter at its last couple in free-for-alls down at Northam. Well, they're good runs. Beaten 1.5 lengths, 2 lengths behind Rex Hunter. Rex Hunter's a top-line dog. Thought on an each-way basis, if Liberty Star could get the start right, could give a bit of cheek tonight. So, race 3, number 1, race 8, number 4, and the roughie for the weekend, race 12, number 7, Liberty Star. And that is about it for tonight. Train, we've got, have you got anything else when it comes to either roughies or rovers for this program?
Yeah, actually, Shorty, they're both in the same race. I thought a roughie race 11, number 4, Send It Miles, trained by Eric Campana, having a wonderful run with his dogs. And the rove could be 11-5 Early Worm, just gets back and runs on over these shorter trips. So, bit of a... could be a double rove or whatever we're doing there. Could be something to hit the frame there, Shorty.
All right, so race 11 on the program tonight there at Mandurah. Number 4 in Send It Miles, currently a $10 chance. And number 5 is Early Worm, currently at that $5 and $2 a place. So we can play around with those two for tonight there for the train if you're looking to get involved in the program from a novelty perspective. I've also, as always, been given the challenge of trying to find the quaddie tonight at Mandurah. Here's what I've come up with. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide in the first leg. Second leg, just 4 and 5. We've got 2 different dogs. 5, Seahorn is likely to be leading, and 4, Zipping Lewick is probably going to have to come from the back. So we'll have 1 on speed, 1 charging home. In the third leg, we're taking the field. I thought almost anything could win that free-for-all tonight there. A few of the dogs are drawn inside out, and let's hope something at double figure odds arrives. And then in that final leg, I'm just taking 1 and 4, Min Smiley and Pad Up Declan. That's $196 for a full unit. $19.60 will get you just under. It will get you 10% there tonight, so just under $20 for the 10% play there tonight. And certainly that first leg, if Hurricane Taylor gets rolled, that opens right up. And I thought in that third leg, There were a number of winning hopes, right down to dogs like Torino and Bungee Man. Wouldn't faint if they won in a race like that. So that's how I'm going about it. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, field, 1, 4, 196 for a full, $19.60 for 10%. Just under $10 will get you a 5% share if you want to drill down that deep. That's Mandurah Friday night chasing train. We now switch across to the Saturday night card there. You're tuned into the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set on this Friday. David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams with you. How are you settling back into to the life in the West Train after being on the road for so long there, living away from home?
Never worked so hard in my life, Shorty. I've had some early nights, I know that. First couple of days back on the tools, running around everywhere, getting...
Been up in Kalgoorlie as well?
Yeah, done a little day trip there, and we do another one again tomorrow. But, yeah...
What time you talked about this on radio this morning? You're going up to Kalgoorlie, right? So you're at Mandurah tonight with your dogs. Yeah. You get them home, kennel them, then feed them, then you're off to Kal at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so unfortunately, race 12 is the last one we have in tonight, and I don't like to feed them after the race for at least an hour, just to let them settle down and stuff. And so that'll be about 11:30, I think. So I'll probably jump into bed not long after, and I probably won't even sleep because I'll be excited. There's a few boys coming up on this trip, so
and you're the pilot. You're driving.
Yeah, that's probably a bit scary, but yeah, no doubt we're picking up Michael Hine on the way through at Baker's Hill. He's gonna have the esky there, so I can't start drinking obviously till we get there. But the few of the boys.
But I'll give you a small hint, knowing him, as you're pulling up into the driveway. Yeah. That'll be rolled, and that'll be about the 7th of the night for him. So he'll be in rare form. Yeah. He'll be having that stop right, left, and centre on the way through.
I'd stay away from him if anyone is clear of him up there. Be a dribbling mess, I'd say. But I would have earned one with the 6.5 hour drive.
You will have, yes.
There, so that'll be the first.
Do you have to drive home as well?
Yeah. Oh, there's a few pilots here, but I just like to drive. Like to drive my own car. So
to be fair, you take a bit of filling up too, so you should be pretty right for the drive home.
So, and I think there's a few other boys going up there this time. Last trip I spent it with Ray and Dot Williams and a couple of their friends. It was a great day, Shorty, and then night we had dinner together and I asked a lot of questions, and they're lovely people, Ray and Dot, and so they got Starry Heights in the Cup, so I'll be cheering that for them as well, and looking forward to it, Shorty. Who knows what holds for our horse after this run?
Cold, you've got Big Colossal going around. He's been airborne of late, queuing up for 3 on the bounce on Saturday.
Yeah, I noticed he's right out the gate, so I'm not sure. That's a good thing. He's 350 out to 550, so I might have to go around to Grant Alanis and see if he's got 4 legs there before he gets on the truck tonight. But no, very exciting. That's why I bought horses for Shorty, to go and support him and have days out with mates. Unfortunately, for me, it's Kalgoorlie, but that's all right. It's a bit of a trip away and just a quick one. And then we've got another big trip coming up soon.
Indeed, yep, indeed we have. Looking forward to that. So let's get into Mandurah Saturday night. We've got 3 heats of the WA Bred Championship to look forward to here. And the return to WA chasing of the pin-up boy from your kennel, Iconic Jet, runner-up in the SA Derby at its most recent start. It's returned. You told us yesterday on Great Greys the dog's trialled 22.20, and it's been absolutely poleaxed in early markets with TABtouch. Opened up earlier on in the week, Iconic Jet, I'm pretty sure at black odds. It was $2, out to $2.05, and since then, wacko into $1.60. It has been absolutely smashed in betting. So Iconic Jet, the punters are certainly aboard heavily for the return on Saturday night, Train.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy when you think about it. He's up against open class dogs here, and Sunset Peppy's one of them. Like you said earlier, he's sub 27 dog, and I think he's a 27.15 and a 27.04 on his form in his last 5 or 6. So my dog's got the draw advantage, and he's going to have to cash in on that. He's actually been quite lucky with the draws everywhere he's gone, so he's probably due for a few bad ones. But like I said, when we got him home, we just trialled him, and I thought if he trialled ordinary, which he never has in his life, we'd just give him a couple of weeks off just to let him get over the trip. And these races I wouldn't normally go for him, but they're WA bred races, and there's no guarantee he could be here next year. Something could go wrong with him, and you miss out. And like I said to you yesterday, there's a few of the big boys away out of town, so I thought it was a good opportunity to dip his toes into the water, into the deep end, and we've been lucky enough to come up with box 1. So, like I said, I did trial him before I went to Adelaide. He went 27.04. So, if he can repeat something like that, he'd be running top 3 hopefully and make the final. That's all we can ask for. Get into the final and then again, have to draw well and see what speed influences. That's a very important key for this dog because he sort of needs the lead to do his best. And there's other dogs in the heats like Wise Barra and Sunset Hornet. They've all got good speed, so we'd be looking forward to, not as much speed in the final if we make it. So, but we'll get through Saturday night, Shorty. We're going to kick it off in one of them heats, and it'll be race 6, number 2, Sunset Nightjar. Knocking on the door. I tried to buy this dog, Shorty, a fair while ago when he was running a lot of placings at Cannington in them novices, and I thought he would have been a good money spinner, but he's busting to win a race. He's been runner-up his last 3. You get a good opportunity here. I think Wise Barra and Sunset Hornet will go forward, and he can just get the camp on him in behind and hopefully be too strong for him late. He needs to come out well. He used to be a lid pinger, but he's lost that bit of early speed, and then he musters.
Relies on mustard.
Yeah, he musters when he hits the ground, but he used to actually ping the lids at Cannington, and these boxes are different now, and he's been struggling to work it out, but nonetheless, he's been an ultra consistent dog, and I thought he'd get the job done in the last heat of the WA bred race 6, number 2, Sunset Nightjar. We'll go over to race 9, number 1, Shorty. I want to get your opinion on Renegade Cachice. He's come back, and fair to say he hasn't been anywhere near his best. I thought he was very lucky to win last week off the 1 box, and I also thought he had his chance to go past Jeff Reed's dog in the other 2 races that he had. I just thought this race, it's going to be a roughie, I know, but it's probably not up to these dogs. But race 9, number 1, Surely, is drawn underneath Esperance Ace, who's one of the widest runners in Australia. And it did run 17-12 at Northam 2 runs back, and I thought it would be big odds. No knock on Renegade Cachice, he's a really good dog, but whether or not he might have some injury problems, he did have time off, whether or not he's 100%, I just thought he was a bit of a risk. I thought he was a risk last week, and he was lucky to win the race when the heavens opened at the first turn for mine.
Yeah, I think at the price is likely to be served up that I'm happy to watch this week rather than tumble in. But I will say, Surely is a dog that runs a lot of placings and is going to get a lovely run. Long as Esperance Ace can hold Solid Tank. The only fear would be Solid Tank steps better than Esperance Ace and crosses it and makes it messy down there. If that was to happen, then all of a sudden Renegade Cachice is getting room in the middle of the track. It's getting jammy down near the inside with Esperance Ace trying to get up, Solid Tank trying to get over. It could get a little squeezy. But if Esperance Ace can hold out, Solid Tank can hold it up the track, Surely then becomes a recipient of a lovely run up along the fence.
Yeah, I just thought a small bet each way on Surely wouldn't hurt the punters there at the big odds. But what are your thoughts on Renegade Cachice? Do you agree with me, or do you think?
Oh, no, I don't think the dog's going to its very best. It must be said, and the clock tells us that. So this is a dog that's gone some really quick times. 16 and 57. Its best is sort of in the 16.6 to 16.8 range, and its last 3 or 4 runs, 17, 21, 12, 12, and 48. So, they're 5, 6, 7 lengths under what this dog's capable of, and box draws have been 1, 8, 7, and 4, and generally a dog that likes either inside where it gets room to muster or outside where it gets room to muster. So it's had a fair bit in its favour, and it's going a bit under its very best. So, I think that, it's hard to knock a dog that's had 35 starts for 23 wins and 8 seconds, but right now, from the squeeze draw, I'd be inclined to watch on at a tight quote.
That's what I'm
Saturday
saying.
night.
It's going to go around a short price. It was favourite last week off the 1 box, very short, and probably the 1 box got it home last week. Look, I'm not knocking the dog or bagging the dog. It's a freak. It's a fast dog, but just
it's price sensitive. You've got to be price sensitive as a punter. You're not knocking the dog, but you're making the point that Renegade Cachice on the clock is not running to the times that it's probably being priced to.
Yeah, I also thought it had its chance in them races against All Over Carly, and it just got leveled up, and I don't know if it wanted to go on with the job, but look, it's a freak of a dog. It's won all them races. No knock on the dog. It'd be hard to beat, but at $1.20 or $1.30, I'm just looking for a bit of value. So
that's fair enough.
We'll go around that one, and then the very last bet, I'm going to team up with Cozzy after giving him a bit of a clip there. Race 10, number 1, Aussie Bluff. You picked this out last week, Shorty, that it was going to be well suited to the 300 metre, and boy, was it. It dwelled at the start, but the pace it showed off the mat was outstanding. So if it could get the start right tonight, Saturday night, it's going to go a lot quicker because it did well last start, and we're just hoping for a bit of a rinse and repeat. It wasn't quite running out the 400 metre trip as you alluded to, Shorty. Went back to the 300 last week and blew them away. So clean pair of heels tomorrow night at the start, and I think it will get the job done again, like we always say, rinse and repeat. So 6-2, 9-1 each way, and 10-1 on Saturday night for me at Mandurah.
Absolutely. Looking at Ryan Levitsky's thoughts for Saturday night, race 2, number 4, Southern Star, 1 for Maxi Julian, race 8, number 5, Curate's Egg. Peter O'Neill will be cheering hard here. This dog made its return last week. Solid when runner-up, gets a similar race, will be better for the run, looks hard to beat. And race 11, number 4, Cheers Jacks, another for Max Julian. So Ryan Levitsky tipping Maxi, the white-bearded maestro, for a double on the night. Race 2, number 4, and race 11, number 4, Southern Star and Cheers Jacks. So good luck to Maxi on Saturday night there. Jesse Earnshaw kicks things off. Race 3, number 3, Imperial Sash. 1 from the camp, that's always a nice push. On to race 6, number 2, Sunset Nightjar. Same as the train, thought that it could be camped up there and hard to hold out late. Race 6, number 2, Sunset Nightjar. And the third of the specials for Jesse is teaming up with the dog that I like in race 10, number 1, Aussie Bluff. We found it last week with confidence, and it'll be a cave-in job again this Saturday night. Draws where it wants to be. It's a real 300 metre pet trip style of dog. It'll just fire its way through the grades. I think it'll go even quicker than what it did last week there, running 17-18. My better bets on the program. Kicking it off, race 3, number 1, Balmerino. This dog's been a favourite of mine since arriving across here in WA. Had 5 weeks between runs. Last week it drew box number 6. It's not a brilliant beginner. It's never been a brilliant beginner at any stage since coming here to WA. What it does do, it musters through really quickly, and it's got a brilliant turn of mid-race acceleration. Last week that was blunted because as it looked to get going, there were dogs all around of it, basically just holding it back to the field, stripping it. And it did get wound up late, but it was far too late. This time, draws box 1, which is important because Balmerino down on the fence will get that room that it needs to muster through. And all this dog needs is just a little look to show that mid-race acceleration, and it will just drop on them. Balmerino's a very, very smart greyhound. I've got a lot of time for it. I think this Saturday night, the draw brings it right into play, and I think it'll return to the winners list.
Reminds me a lot of Mortality. Very similar
yeah.
racing patterns.
100%. Yep, not great beginners, but great mid-race dash and very strong to the line. And just needs that little bit of room to sort of wind up mid-race. I think it'll get that from here. So I've made that the first of my key plays. Race 3, number 1, Balmerino. Then moving on to race 7, number 4, Sunset Comanche. Really talented stayer. This dog just keeps on delivering over the 652 metres. Defeated Savick a few weeks ago when, it looked like it was ready to win a race, and Sunset Comanche just keeps winning over this trip. It's just a superior stayer to what it runs into. So happy to be with it again. Race 7, number 4. There's pace with Penny Magic, Chloe Ant, 90 Mile Rose. They'll all go forward. Yamasaki Bale. It won't be getting involved in any of that, and it'll just be dropping on them late. Race 7, number 4, Sunset Comanche. And rounding it out with race 10, number 1, Aussie Bluff, the dog we've just been talking about. It looks a lovely multi-builder for the night. It's going to be just pinging and winning off the inside draw. So race 3, number 1, Balmerino. Race 7, number 4, Sunset Comanche. Race 10, number 1, Aussie Bluff. Looks like some pretty nice multi-business to me for Saturday night. Now, Train, you are chartered with finding the quaddie on a Saturday night as well as anything rough or indeed rove-wise, please.
Yeah, my rover for Saturday, race 2, number 2, Kisses for Ruby. Drawn down near the inside. I think it'll be hitting the frame for the rover players. And my quaddie on Saturday, Shorty. First leg, 1 and 3. Second leg, 2, 3 and 6. Third leg, 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. And the last leg, 4, 5, 6, 7. 120 for a unit.
Alrighty, in recap there, punters, we've got 1, 3, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. 120 for the Trains play there. Now, I've got a few on the Rove Up on Saturday night, quite like these. Race 1, number 3, Zinc, was good to us last week. Got us
Very good.
Really nice result out of the Rove Up there. Race 2, number 6, Go Seek Francine. Looks another really nice Rove play this Saturday night. Runs a stack of placings on the way through. Also, a little deeper into the program, thought that maybe one in the last. No, there's not. That's it. That's it for this week. So we've got the two. Race 1, number 3, Zinc, and race 2, number 6, Go Seek Francine, our Rover plays on Saturday night there at Mandurah. That brings to a close our look at the local meetings for this weekend. We will return there with the Kennel Mail from Lukey Townsend and also Damien Credelli, and also the very best a bit later on in the program. It is, though, now time to catch up with our great mate Jaycin Campbell for this big night of chasing across there at Wentworth Park.
It's a busy weekend of chasing in New South Wales. Joining the boys to help find you the winners, it's the one and only Jaycin Campbell.
And what a program it is as well. We have got a huge night of chasing, these $1 million chase qualifiers, and some of the best dogs from all around Australia converging on Wentworth Park for this meeting. The man that's been finding us winners for fun of late, Jaycin Campbell, now joins us. Hello, JC.
Hey, Shorty. Hey, Train. How are you, boys?
Unbelievable. In very, very good nick, thank you. And looking forward to this night of chasing out there at Wendy on Saturday. And well done to you last week, seeing them really well. But one of my personal favourites, Poor Petrov, getting up at just under $8 there last week. And it was feet on the dashboard viewing.
Well, that was a bit of a needle for poor old Shane Train in the studio. It's one of your favourites, Poor Petrov. God. All right. Yeah, no, he was pretty good there, Poor Petrov. I didn't have too much on him. I had him more for a place perspective, and he did drift a little bit, so that was nice. But I was pretty impressed with Kanya Amy. She was, I don't know how she won the race, but we'll definitely take her. She actually ran pretty good time considering where she got to in running.
Yeah, Paul Petrov, we talked about it last week. The trip away obviously has done it the world of good, and Shorty alluded to me that it won again last night at Sandown. I didn't see the run all the time, but obviously a very nice young pup, and them form lines are hopefully proven correct on Saturday night.
Yeah, it butted up and won again last night in really impressive fashion. So yeah, it's really exciting, and looking forward to continuing to follow that greyhound at good prices heading forward. Let's get into Saturday night though, and this program, these dogs looking to qualify through to the $1 million. The $1 million ticket. Let's get your thoughts. Better bets on the program to kick off with, JC?
Yeah, 8 MDC qualifying, heats you could call them. And, I can't wait to watch all those runners go around. Bit of a smorgasbord of greyhound racing. Got runners from Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. And obviously your own WA hope with Bezecchi going around for Paul Stuart. From a viewer's perspective, I really like watching these nights, but from a betting perspective, I can find it extremely difficult because you got form lines coming from everywhere, as I mentioned. And when you get stuff like this, a lot of these dogs seeing Wentworth Park for the first time, it could be a bit of a, strip out. So suggestion to punters out there is probably take a blue pill so you can not bust your load too early in the night. So I'm going to go to race 5, playing the 2 here. Race 7, number 2, Cruising Debbie. Lack of early speed in this contest, which should play into the hands of the Victorian Cruising Debbie. She is faultless at box rise and more often than not contests the lead at both Sandown and the Meadows we've seen in recent times. She'll get plenty of room to move early, 2 slow beginners either side of her. The only knock is that she hasn't seen Wentworth Park under race conditions, but hopefully she can get away with it.
And JC, that man, Brendan Purcell, has won $1 million chase before.
Yes, with McInerney.
McInerney, and I remember him whinging to me that he had to go up 6 weeks straight to Sydney, and I said, mate, $1 million at the end of the day. You're not whinging.
Yeah, $1 million rich. You shouldn't be whinging after that. But hopefully he can qualify Cruising Debbie on Saturday night. I think she's a pretty good chance.
All right, so Cruising Debbie, the first of the plays. On to the next of them.
Going to my value play now of the night, race 3, number 8, Mapunga Tully. I think she has been exceptionally well prepared to make a statement on tomorrow night. She's trialled last fortnight, won in 29.90. Last week, she had the inside draw. She just got crowded by Miss Zigzag early in proceedings. I think she's better drawn here off the track. You only have to go back a couple of runs. She actually defeated Mapunga Smoky in 29.80 at the Meadows from box 7. I think she'll get plenty of room to move early, and I just want to be against Blue Camaro. He's a nice young dog, but he hasn't seen Wentworth Park, and I just think with Amiga Travis and My Silver Spoon drawn either side of him, they've got to give him a bit of grief early because they both had speed on their night, and I think Mapunga Tully can miss all of that out wide, hopefully sweep across, get into the first too early and be too strong late.
All right, so sticking with a couple of the Mexicans to kick things off. Race 7, number 2, Cruising Debbie. Race 3, number 8, Mapunga Tully. Just with that bits too, Cruising Debbie. I've barely seen a more consistent canine in my lifetime. 34 for 11 and 19. It's been placed 30 of 34, and most of them have been at free-for-all level. Just incredibly consistent and reliable. On to the next of your plays for the punters, please, JC.
This be my roving banker play of the night. Unsure what the market is here because it's one of the races that markets we don't have available right now. But race 2, number 1, Kanya Amy. I don't think she can beat Exploded here, but I think she'll beat home her fellow Victorian Ella's Babe, and that's all we'll have to do because it is pay 1-2, so take that of note. But I think she was obviously really good last week from box 7. That was her first run back for a couple of weeks. She had to make up a lot of ground. It was a win where you'd have to go watch the replay because it was a really impressive one at that. I think she can get into a more prominent position here from box 1. She loves the rails draw, and Exploded should be hard to beat. Probably odds-on favourite here. I think we might be able to pick up about $1.80 to $2 for Kanya Amy to run second to him.
Alrighty, so Kanya Amy, the rove up for this weekend. You got a quaddie play for us?
Yes, leg 1, 2, 5 and 7. Leg 2, 1, 2 and 5. Leg 3, just a bit of insurance here with Cruising Debbie. I'm going to play the 2 and 5. And leg 4, probably one of the more open heats is speed from absolutely everywhere. Don't really know what to do, but 1, 4, 6 and 7 for leg 4.
1, 4, 6, 7. In recap, 2, 5, 7, 1, 2, 5, 2, 5, 1, 4, 6, 7. That's $72 for a full unit if you're looking to get involved there. Before you go to your very best, I'll take you through my plays on the night. I'm going to kick it off race 2, number 5, Exploded. This dog's been good to us on the way through. Just keeps fronting up and winning. Jason Mackay, guy that knows what he's doing. We've touched on it many times since coming into his camp. This dog's been absolutely devastating. Should be winning again. On to race 3, number 2 here, Blue Camaro for Josh Formosa. This greyhound's coming off a 29.64 win at the Meadows. That has just got steam on the paws written all over it. 29.6 at the Meadows, if you don't mind, punters. As long as it brings that to Wentworth Park, it's likely to take a power of stopping. Around 350 looked decent enough for me to take the punt there and hope that it can take the form to Wenty. Race 5, number 7, Angel Shirley picks itself for Peter Lagosiani. He knows what it's like to win these big races. Came from this draw last week when dropping a sizzling 29 and 59, if you do not mind. So no problem with the wide draw. Something similar again here. Goes home with the chocks. The West Aussie, happy to get behind in race 6, number 4, Bezecchi. This dog has got a massive motor for the great man, Paul Stuart. If it just posies up somewhere near them, expect Bezecchi to be absolutely rattling into it mid-race and all over the top late. Race 6, number 4, Bezecchi. And the Goose to round it out. Race 7, number 5, Blue Goose Boy. Last 2 runs have been excellent. Hot wins here at Wenty from middle draws in 29.47 and 61. So aiming up for the winning hat-trick. A winner 9 of 19 track and trip. Really keen. I'll be taking multis through 2-5 Exploded, 3-2 Blue Camaro, 5-7 Angel Shirley, 6-4 Bezecchi, and 7-5 Blue Goose Boy on an excellent night of chasing. JC, that just leaves us with your very best, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I'm going to Richmond on Friday, so that would be tonight. Hopefully people are tuned in time. Race 2, number 4, Kanya Supersonic. She has dominated this fixture in recent times, winning 3 of the last 4 races. Her only defeat came 2 starts ago. She was in a full field. She got beaten by a dog by the name of Sicario Beast, who's an absolute Learjet for Peter Lagioni. I think she gets into this race really well here. She's drawn well in box 4. There's a vacant box outside her. The dog underneath her, all-time high, does like to crash towards the rails. So I think there's no reason why Kanya Supersonic won't get clear air early. And if she finds a bunny here over the 320 metres, you'd be pretty stiff if she got run down. So I think she'll be very, very hard to beat. That's where I want my $100. And while we're at Richmond on Friday night, there's another dog in race 4. Is quite short, admittedly, $1.70, but race 4 and 1, Blaze Wave. I think this dog will be really hard to beat on this occasion. SP last week, $7 in a top grade race, was overhauled by a few dogs by the name of Beth Dutton and Almost. They're both, they've probably got lengths on the opposition that he faces tonight. I think he steps down in grey's years, drawn the fence, should lead, and none of his rivals really look strong enough to run him down. So I think both those dogs will win tonight at Richmond, but $100 on Tanya Supersonic.
Beautifully done. JC, you tipped us into Autumn Star last night at Albion Park. How was the old heart rate going as they turned for home?
Oh, yes. Yeah. She was pretty good. I think she needs 600 metres. I probably got that one wrong, to be fair, but probably wrong bet, right result. One of those. It was a bit of a frustrating night last night for myself. I had a few sick results, but hopefully we can dust ourselves off and pick it up for the weekend.
Alrighty, so one thing I will say, JC, never mind the maps and what might have been or what should have been, just get to the front of the payout window. That's all that matters, mate. So never mind the rest of it on the way through. Beautifully done as always. We look forward to catching up again this time next week. Until then, many winners, mate. Go well.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend, mate.
It's time to roll out the red carpet and welcome our local industry VIP guest of the week.
Time to roll out the red carpet now. Our very special industry member guest for this week is Jodie Jennings, of course, daughter of Dave and Christine Robertson, one of the most lovable industry members we have trained. She's done a great job promoting greyhound racing for a really significant period of time. She's been wonderful in our recent promotions where we've tried to get new owners involved in the sport. She clearly has a great love for these animals, and it's wonderful to welcome her to the Jet Set podcast on this Friday afternoon. Hello, Jodie. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon, boys.
Good morning, Jodie. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. You're an absolute rock star in our industry, and as Shorty mentioned before, the work you do for the new people getting involved in the sport, it doesn't go unrecognised by everyone in the industry. So congratulations on that, and it's very good to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to hear, and it's just something I've really enjoyed doing, getting so many new people involved in our wonderful industry. It's just been amazing, and just seeing the thrill they've had with these two greyhounds that they had shares in was fantastic.
I know that we've been sort of with you working from basically ground level up. So we had the first night or two with these new owners out trackside, and you brought the pups in, and then we had visits to the kennels where people have had the chance to see them grow and what they need to do, how to learn how to chase and the likes, and you've then kept them up to speed with social media updates on when the dogs are racing, what they're doing at home in between runs, what it looks like in the kennels, what they're eating, their diet, when to go and turn up and watch them race and get together as a group of people. It's taken a lot of hard work and plenty of time on your behalf, but it sounds like, as you've touched on, it's been a really rewarding thing as well, seeing these people that are new to the sport get into it, get around these dogs, and some of the photos and videos I've seen of the owners hugging the dogs and loving the dogs either at the track or at the kennels has been magnificent.
It has. It's been fantastic, and we're so lucky. And like the two dogs have now retired, and both of them have gone to some of the owners to be lovely pets now. So we've been really lucky that way.
That's so good. And that's what this is all about, opening it up to new people, being completely transparent, showing them what the sport's all about, and also giving them the opportunity to have these dogs that have raced as take-home pets at the end of their careers. Jodie, that's just part of what you've done, though. You've been a really important part of the team at Robertson Racing for a very significant period of time now. We'll start off with you are the daughter of Dave and Christine Robertson, who are two absolute legends of WA Greyhound racing. They have been star trainers, breeders, fine industry people that have been great role models at different stages throughout the course of their careers. So much love and respect for your mum and dad from everybody within our industry. What's it been like growing up as a daughter of Dave and Christine that have had, as I've touched on, such a big role to play in WA Greyhound racing?
Yeah, well, I think firstly, how lucky am I to be, being born into that family and just had greyhounds my whole life, and just to have that experience of, mum and dad. And I haven't had to go to anyone else's kennels. I've, had our kennels our whole life and just had such a wonderful experience and, so much good luck with our greyhounds with mum and dad.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, Shorty. What was it like growing up in a greyhound family as a young age, Jodie? A lot of trips to the races and stuff?
Oh, I have such great memories of growing up at the greyhounds. Obviously, it was a different era back then, but it was because obviously we only had racing Friday and Saturday nights back then, but going to the track on a Friday and Saturday night was just like going to a huge event because it was always, hundreds of people there. It was busy. It was just a fun night out. So it was such a great experience going to the track. And then always at home, our kennels were busy and we always had, like I said, mum and dad were breeding all the time. So we had lots of puppies, kennels full of racing dogs. So it was a really great childhood growing up.
It's a great point that you raised too, Jodie. Cannington, during your generation growing up, it was huge. Most Saturday nights you'd turn up at Cannington and the restaurant would be full. There'd be 500 or 600 people through there. The public area would have a few hundred people. There was always busy in the members with a couple of hundred people in there. It was most Saturday nights you'd turn up and there'd be well in excess of 1,000 people at the track, everybody having a great time. And then when it was carnival time, it used to go next level again. I know when I first started working at the Greyhounds, we used to get 4,000 and 5,000 people there on Cup night and you'd barely be able to move in the place. So I can only imagine how exciting it would have been heading to the track with some of the key runners on meetings like that.
Oh, exactly. I think I have one really good memory. I think it was probably one of the first big races I remember mum and dad winning, and it was the Mandurah Cup back in the 80s. And they had a little girl and her name was Tidy Level. She wasn't expected to win, I don't think, back then. But I remember being at the track that night, and I think I was maybe 10 or 11, and it was packed. And obviously old Mandurah had quite a big lawn area back then, and you just could not move. And I remember I wanted to get and see this race. So they had the old bookie stand where the photographer used to stand on. So I snuck up onto there just so I could see, and it was right on the finishing post. And she dashed by to win that night, and I still remember that to this day. It was such a great feeling.
Amazing. It's so much fun. And your mum and dad have since gone on to have so many amazing dogs. Are there a couple that spring to mind as your favourites? Not necessarily just for what they did at the races, but what they were like around the home front.
Oh, definitely. Look, obviously one as a racer had to be High Earner. He sort of put mum and dad on the map a little bit. He was their first dog that even though they had way before him a lot of famous dogs. However, I think he was the one he earned the money in that day, and and he was a special dog. He was a once in a lifetime dog. So he was a lovely dog. Recently, my boy Throttle, he is still our pet at home now, and he's the same. I love him to death, so he's a special boy.
Yeah, High Earner is happily named, wasn't he? At one stage, he was the highest earner greyhound in history. Yeah, so he was very well named, wasn't he?
He was, and I think I saw a list the other day, and he's still up there in the top 100 of earners. So that's not bad for the money these days.
Jodie, just on that dog Throttle, this dog had amazing speed. It really looked like being the next big thing in greyhound racing, and as we know, there can be challenges at different times as far as much the same as AFL footballers. Their bodies can let them down at different stages, and it was a bit the same with Throttle. Unfortunately, injuries probably stopped us from seeing the very best of the dog on the racetrack, but gee, it was exciting, and just one of those dogs that if it had been able to stay together for another 3 to 6 months, he could really have done some amazing things.
Yeah, it is a shame because I think we only saw a fraction of what he was about to produce. But yes, unfortunately these things happen. But you know what? He's home with us now, and he's a beautiful pet at our place. So we love him, and then it sort of then opened up the door also for our boy Hinto to sort of step on in because he was a little bit in his shadows to start with. Obviously they were only a couple of months apart, but Hinto sort of sat behind Throttle because he took the lead. But now Hinto's come along and, been the underdog. But, gee, he's, made a mark in the greyhound industry, that's for sure.
I was just about to mention Hinto. I was going to say you couldn't leave him out. He won a derby early on in his career, and what a great dog he's been. Like, he's still racing now and winning races and being so competitive at that age. It's just a credit to you and your family, Jodie.
Oh, thank you. And it is, for mum and dad to keep him going. He turns 4 this month, and he's been a dog that, has just week in, week out raced his heart out, and has just been such an amazing dog. And like we said, still going. He's not even looking at retiring. This boy, he loves to race.
Look out, Masters dogs coming up very shortly.
Yeah, I know he will be a master, just about.
Yeah. So moving forward, Jodie, what are the plans? Are you going to take up the collar and lead when mum and dad finally give it away? I know your dad tried to have a stint away. It didn't last very long. He got very bored and come back into training. So are that the plans moving forward? Are you going to take up the collar and lead?
Yeah, I don't know. Mum and Dad, I don't think will ever retire. They love it too much. It's in your blood. But yeah, I love it, and I definitely would want to keep on going and keep. We've got puppies hitting the ground all the time, so there's nowhere in the future that we won't be at the track. That's for sure.
Great to know that you're going to be heavily involved. And at the moment, you've got some young pups. So the Raquel Kelsos litter. That was a massive litter. How many were there? 13 in the litter?
No, I think there was 9 in that litter.
9.
So we had 7 girls and 2 boys.
That's the Zach Manelli
That's
litter.
the Zach Manelli. That's right. But they've turning out to be a handy little litter. That's for sure.
Yeah, they can all run a little bit. And heading forward, you mentioned there's some more litters there. Are there a couple of dogs that are around the place that we can maybe keep an eye out for? I know Curo's a dog that's really caught my eye on the way through. He's done some really good things as a young dog.
Yeah, he actually is quite a good boy. I think he's just coming into his step now. He's taken a little while to, master racing, but his last few runs, he's really shown us what he's got in there. So he is exciting dog to watch in the future.
Indeed. And the other litters that we've got going on at the moment, they're looking pretty sharp as well.
Yeah, we've got some Tommy Shelby puppies that should be coming up in the next couple of months. And then in the paddocks, they're a little way away, but we've got some obviously locally bred. We've got some vice grip pups.
Excellent.
That will be coming along. And we've got my special girl who is Winnie Woo Woo, who was our pin-up girl for the track. She's the girl that I do lots of promotional work with. She only had one little puppy. To Hooked on Scotch, but she is going to be a little dynamite, I think. So she'll be someone to watch in the future also.
Absolutely, a solo operator out of that litter. Well, we'll certainly be keeping an eye out for that one. Jody, the other, I think, really great thing about our sport, you get to make some amazing friends on the way through and have some really good people that help out and become lifelong friends. And people like Dave Simonetti spring to mind anytime we have a big promotion or anything to do with the publicity and the like. He's just been an incredible man in our sport. And I know there's a lot of respect from your family to him and vice versa.
Definitely. If there's anything you need to know about greyhound racing, Dave Simonetti does not know. He knows everything and is always willing to help anyone, which is just such, a really good trait to have, isn't it?
He's been an absolute champion for our sport on the way through. Train, have you got the blowtorch ready to roll for Jody for the burning questions to round out the chat?
I have. I don't know if Jody listens to our podcast, but she might be aware of some of the questions about to come her way. But I just wanted to thank her for coming on today. As I mentioned earlier, Shorty, she's a very valuable industry member in our industry, and the things she does, obviously on her own time, is just outstanding. So hats off to her for the work she does in our industry.
Indeed. Fire away, Train.
All right, Jody, you go to a bar. What's your drink order?
A margarita.
A favourite restaurant that you can recommend?
We actually like a little restaurant called Bruvino, which is down on the waterfront in Mandurah.
I'll have to write that one down, Shorty.
Yeah.
Funniest person in our industry?
Rod Noden's pretty funny.
Rocket.
Yes,
he has got some humour.
He's got a couple of good one-liners, Rod.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Best dog out of your kennel, or favourite dog? Best or favourite dog out of your kennel? That's a hard question, I know.
It is a hard one. Hinto.
Yep. Favourite holiday destination?
Japan.
Celebrity crush?
Adam Levine.
Hobbies outside of racing?
As you know, you don't really get a lot of time for hobbies outside greyhounds. So I love to travel, but I've also just got a horse. So maybe that might be a little share in a horse. So that might be my new hobby.
A racehorse?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us a bit more. Who's training it?
So it's trained by Luke Fernie. So it was I actually went in Own the Dream last year.
Yep.
I didn't win, but I got my $1,500 voucher. So I went and got to share with some other girls.
Yep.
So it's a ladies' horse.
Yep.
Awesome.
And he's called Keep It a Mystery, and we've had, he's had 2 wins in I think 4 starts. So
Oh, look
it's
out.
been so very exciting boy to watch.
Nothing better than a day at the track, Jody. When you're cheering your horse home, let me tell you, it's fun times.
You've been having some luck too.
Well, it started out as a bit of a hobby, and now it's got out of hand. There's about 11 horses there, so it's crazy. Don't get that crazy.
So that's as bad as dogs.
Favourite track doesn't have to be in WA.
Old Cannington.
Yep. A lot of people say that.
Oh, amazing.
I come to the Old Cannington for a holiday. I think I told you this when Chica D'Estacada won the Nationals. I was from New South Wales, and I come home and over here and cheered Chica winning that night, and I'd never seen so many people.
And the line hasn't stopped throwing winners since.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. The last one, 3 people in our industry that you would choose to be stuck on a deserted island with.
I'm going to be really antisocial. I'd rather just take my dogs.
Hey!
3 dogs. Name 3 dogs. Kuro,
I'm
Throttle.
taking my 3 champs.
Very nice. Well, I tell you what, dog is a man and woman's best friend, and Jodie's hanging out with 3 of her favourite dogs on the island. Very nicely done. Jodie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Jet Set podcast. Continued success. Send our love to Mum and Dad and my favourite dog on your property, Rexy. Make sure you give a very special pat to Rexy for me as well, and we'll see you at the track very soon. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jody.
Another massive evening of metropolitan chasing lies ahead at the Meadows on Saturday night. To dissect the card, here's the man with the Melbourne Mail, Corey Smith.
Time to head across to Victoria and catch up with our man Corey Smith. Unfortunately, no Meadows program on Saturday night, but we do have some very good chasing in Bendigo. 7 heats of the Bendigo Cup, and Corey's still been good enough to join us. They've got a little bit of an upgrade going on with the lighting system there at the Meadows. Welcome to you, Corey. Thanks for joining us again on this Friday. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there at the Meadows at the minute.
Well, I thought I was going to get a week off with no Meadows, but you said that Shayne was actually on the podcast this week, and I haven't spoken to that man for a few months. I don't know where he has been, so I thought I'd better jump on and give an update on the Meadows and try and find a few winners at Bendigo. But as you said, the Meadows, we're off this Saturday night, which is a bit different. Doesn't happen often that we miss a Saturday night here at the Meadows, but we're getting plenty of track works done in regards to the lighting and a few other things, making the joint look nice and pretty and taking the opportunity to do a few things that it is pretty hard to do when you're racing every Wednesday and Saturday. So the team out on the track is working even harder than usual, which is amazing to say.
We were hoping that the chicken wing competition was going to happen in this little sojourn.
Well, I'm hearing that there might be a couple of you guys going up to the $1 Million Chase, so we might have to source a pub that has a few chicken wings, and it might have to be a bit of a lunch thing pre-$1 Million Chase.
Excellent. I like the idea of that. Any excuse for a catch-up with your good self, Corey? And I know JC's keen to get involved. We'll have a bit of a Jet Set get-together over there in New South Wales. That'll be a lot of fun.
That sounds like plenty of fun. As long as I can come under your wing, Shorty, rather than Train's, because I've got a flight to catch back the next morning.
That's right.
Shorty will bring the TABtouch credit card, Corey, so you won't have to pay for a drink, mate.
Beautiful. That's beautiful indeed, yeah. We'll find a way to make that happen. At the very least, my credit card can cop a smacking anyway. We'll find a way to make it work.
Plenty in there. There's plenty in there.
Thank you very much. Let's see if we can't put a little bit aside for that big weekend upcoming, as we have got a big 12 race program at Bendigo on Saturday night. Corey, what have you come up with for the punters?
I got 3 best bets, a roughie and a quaddie for the punters this Saturday night at Bendigo Cup. It's one of my absolute favourite country cups. 425 metres is such an intriguing distance, but just added to that is a nice long backstretch. So it gives the opportunity for greyhounds that are dropping back from the 500 to not be burnt off early. They can balance up and take off, but it also gives the opportunity for those short course sprinters that you usually see around the 390 or 400 metres to step up and have a crack at these dogs that they just never face. So you get form lines coming from here, there and everywhere, but that's what I absolutely love, because you end up having a little bit of extra value, and I reckon that's where I'm leaning towards with the first of my best bets with Serial Sticker. There are some odds out, which is nice to see, and I was a little shocked to see the prices when they opened up and see that Serial Sticker kind of came up $6, $2.20 sort of areas, because I was not expecting each way value. I do think Zeus Thunderbolt should be favourite from box 3, but I thought they'd be much closer together in the market. So it's basically forcing my hand to have a play on a dog that's won 7 from 9, and he's already been a Country Cup finalist 2 starts ago at Healesville. There's speed low, and I reckon that might be able to just drag him into the race from box number 4. And as I mentioned, that long back straight, I reckon he'll play to his advantage, and a place heavy play is going to be a great bet. So the first of those is Serial Sticker.
I like it. Race 5, number 4, Serial Sticker, the first of them. On to the second of your plays.
Just a grand old campaigner, and that's he's not even that old. But race 6, number 7, Matlock. All he needs to do is avoid the 8, I reckon, in the first 20 metres. He's the sort of dog that he's electric early, but his first 10 metres, he doesn't nail it out under the lids. He's just got an electric turn of foot once he gets onto the sand. So I do think the wide draw is going to be a perfect setup. He's a proper one-turn star. He's already Country Cup winner, as I mentioned. And $2, I'm happy to take Matlock.
Race 6, number 7, Matlock, proven Country Cups operator throughout the course of its career, on top there for Corey. Race 6, number 7, and the third of them?
The third of them will be my $100 play as well, Shorty. Race 8, number 1, Past the Buck. He's the pre-post favourite, and he looks to have drawn probably one of the weaker heats and comes up with the same draw, box number 1, that he started as favourite from in the Phoenix last year. So if you're coming up with as favourite in a Phoenix, and then you're coming up as favourite in a Bendigo Cup heat, you'd like to think that the Phoenix is going to be tougher. So hopefully he's going as well as he was going into that. His Bendigo record is off the charts, 23.49 is his PB, and he's undefeated from 3 racetrack starts there. So I'm not really sure he can tick many more boxes for me, so that makes me think it's a little bit of a trap, and $1.70 I'm going to take it, but I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm excited. Just going through all the emotions with Past the Buck is my best bet.
I love it. Just let them run free. Straight through. Just let them run completely free. Ruffy for the weekend.
Race 4, number 6, Canyon Nitrate. He came up big odds. He's around the $15 mark, and I know he hasn't had a racetrack start for a couple of months, but Jess Hopkins, who I know very well, she doesn't throw her greyhounds in the deep end fresh. She doesn't throw them in the deep end even when they're nice and fit, and I think that while box 6 isn't ideal on paper, 6 of his 7 race wins have come from wide draws, and he's just super talented. So with a race that has a huge amount of speed, they might all chop each other in half, and he might be able to just kind of miss it half a length and then just stay wide and scoot around them. So I reckon he's a decent enough play. Obviously, place heavy when you're getting those sort of odds is the way that I go about it. But race 4, number 6, Canyon Nitrate, I reckon he's the best roughie on the program.
Excellent. The green rug, race 4, number 6, Canyon Nitrate, and your quaddie play for Saturday night Bendigo Cup night.
$48 for 100%. You could halve it if you wanted to go Past the Buck 1 out if you are that way inclined. But here it is: leg 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Second leg 1 and 7, third leg 1, 3, and 6, and then coming home with 1 and 4 in the last. So as I said, $48 for 100%.
$48 for the full there. 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 7, 1, 3, 6, 1, 4. Train.
Now, Corey, you mentioned Jess Hopkins' name just before there. You're obviously part owner of Kenya All Class. Can you allude our listeners where we're heading, up or down in distance?
We've gone up in distance, and you won't have to wait long either, Train. It's tonight at Bendigo over the 660 metres, and he's come up at $1.10. So I can't really tip him into the punters at $1.10, but he's got box 1. There's plenty of speed drawn outside of him. So if he can nail the start like he did at Sandown last week, then he should be able to punch up and hold the lead. But he's only ever done that once, so he might be sitting behind them and might have to pick him off one by one down the back. But he's, as the price suggests, he's a good dog, and he's found his right race. But you can never be too confident with a dog that doesn't nail the start every start.
That's for sure. So moving forward, we're going to likely see him over the 700-metre trip?
I think so eventually. It's just whether Jess wants to go down that path. I think obviously he's not. I don't really foresee him going into a Top Gun or a Top Gun Stayers at this stage. There's not enough time, but he might head towards the Hume Cup, which kicks off on the 4th of November. So he might step back down to the 600, and then Jess will probably play it by ear, and whether she goes Melbourne Cup or Bold Trees tonight might tell us a fair story. But Yeah, to be quite honest, everyone keeps asking me, and everyone wants a tip into the futures markets, but I don't know myself and haven't played into any either. So we're just fingers crossed, and it's a good problem to have that he can run fast times over all distances.
Yeah, that's true. We were just looking for the scoop here on the Jet Set podcast, but
I'm sure he'll let us know when the time's right, particularly after a couple of sherbs over on the East Coast. We'll be able to soften him up a little bit, train, before we start hitting the hard-hitting questions. For this program, Bendigo, I like 3 plays. Race 3, number 8, the Rove Up with number 8, Big Boy Cooper. Can it run a hole? Absolute silver medal bandit, this one. Race 3, the Floss, Big Boy Cooper. Race 4, number 1, Vincent Bales, been a bit of a favourite of mine on the way through. Vincent should be able to punch up off the inside there and give a little bit of cheek, I thought, in that race. And race 11, number 3, we go up in trip, Aunt Virginia. She's one of my favourite relations, Aunt Virginia, and hopefully she can bring the chocolates around. A little bit of trifle when she visits on Saturday night. Race 11, number 3, Aunt Virginia to go with. Race 4, number 1, Vincent Bale, and our Rove Up, race 3, number 8, Big Boy Cooper.
Bendigo Cups have been a good race. Remember Vanderwalt won it a few years ago?
I was there on course and absolutely did my ass because I backed against him. So I've learnt my lesson, and I've never discounted a WA runner since then.
Yeah, trained by Chris Hollis and was looked after by Brendan Purcell that year over there. And I think Peter Cameron, the owner of that dog, he went right on with it that night in Bendigo, Shorty. I think he made a bit of a mess of himself, but as you do when you
Why wouldn't you? When you win the cup, you're entitled to have the key to the city for the night. Sounds like he certainly cashed in with that key and opened a few doors, Train. Very nice indeed. Well, that is excellent as always from you, Corey Smith. We do appreciate your time. Now, next week, I have got my best tip for you is you're going up to Bali, I hear. Is that correct?
Yes, what do they call it? Is it Perth's easternmost suburb or something? I don't know what my directions are.
It is a wonderful spot. Now, I can give you the best piece of advice I can give you. Go and visit a place called the Surf Pavilion in Legian. Now, this place is magnificent. They have 2-for-1 cocktails all day, every day. If you like the espresso martinis, they're not too shabby at all. And the absolute treat of all treats. You go upstairs or downstairs, 2-story facility. They'll put whatever you like on the TV, so you can have Sky 1 and Sky 2 on if you'd like to watch a bit of chasing, or if you're into if there's cricket on or footy on, whatever it is, they'll put that on for you. But you must order the beef rendang spring rolls. The beef rendang spring rolls, honestly, just completely different gravy to anywhere else you'll have eaten in your lifetime, Corey. It's the best tip you'll get. Go and visit the Surf Pavilion and the beef rendang spring rolls.
Did K-Man have some when he went there?
I don't know if the K-Man did. Yeah, it gives them the thumbs up. I'm yet to meet anybody that hasn't enjoyed them. So pop that down on your to-do list while you're up there.
Well, that's a nice cuisine fusion. I'll make you a promise. If Kenya All Class finds his way into the Spring Cup final next week, I'll be looking for a place to watch it. So I reckon I might go tuck into a beef rendang spring roll at the Surf Pavilion, and I'll have to send you guys some updates.
Hey, listen. All these blokes having holidays, like, come on.
Oh,
man, does ever do any work? Come on.
Cool.
Everywhere.
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Do you know, I'll cop that off any person in the world other than the man named Shane Train Williams. That is unbelievable.
My God.
I think if it doesn't work out in the world of greyhounds, they reckon that he's the next big name to be signed to Getaway, Channel 9. They reckon he's had more holidays than James Rain in the last 12 months. So we look forward to seeing you up there in Bali and giving us an update. Go and enjoy those beef rendang spring rolls, and we look forward to catching up there across in New South Wales in a couple of weeks. All the very best, Corey Smith. Appreciate your time as always, great man.
Sounds like a plan, gentlemen.
All the best, mate.
On the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set, here are the Darwin tips with Bones Harmon.
Unfortunately, Bonesy Harmon busy with a meeting today. We've run late to get hold of him, so I apologise to Bonesy, but he's been good enough to send through his tips for us for Darwin on Sunday. Race 1, number 8, Team Play Miss. Race 2, number 5, Rosie Lala with a 4 and 5 Quinella. That's with Miley on Fire. Race 4, number 1, Mojo Herrera. And race 8, number 6, Max is Mad. So Darwin Sunday, 1-8, Team Play Miss. 2-5 Rosie Lala with a 4 and 5 Quinella, race 4 number 1 Mojo Herrera, and race 8 number 6 Max is Mad. Thank you, Bonesy Harmon, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week. Now, on to the kennel mail for this week. And starting it off with Damien Credelli, and he's starting with tonight, Mandurah Friday, race 8, number 8, Catchu. Very, very consistent place getter, Catchu, on the way through. Each way bet will be strong and love space in its races. Still a bit of his best, but seeing him run a good race wouldn't surprise me. It looks a solid 1/9 style, maybe half by 9.5. Race 8, number 8, Catchu. Saturday for the Credelli camp, we've got Damo coming up with 2-6 Go Seek Francine. Continues to hit the podium. There's a couple of runners that will be looking for air late, and if she can sit close enough, could pounce on them each way. Race 2, number 6, Go Seek Francine. I think it was my Rover play on Saturday night. It's been running a lot of placings of late, may well do so again. And in race 8, teaming up with number 6, West on Miley. Interesting race. Looks as though she's going to sit handy early, and if she sees a bunny, will give it a good shake, is another each way hope. So that's race 8, number 6, West on Miley. So thank you to Damien Credelli finding us race 8, number 8 tonight, Catchu each way, and then another couple on each way Saturday, 2-6 Go Seek Francine and 8-6 West on Miley. Let's see if we can catch up with our man Dennis Danuto, Lukey Townsend. Good morning, Shorty. This week I'll go Saturday, and we're teaming up with race 4, number 1, West on Astro, and race 8, number 5, Curate's Egg. Both really good runs last week after a break from racing, expecting improvement from both of them. So thank you, Lukey. Mandurah on Saturday night, the best from the House Kennel. We've got race 4, number 1, West on Astro, and then later into the night, race 8, number 5. Would be music to the ears of our man Pedro O'Neill, because he's involved in the ownership of race 8, number 5, Curate's Egg, along with Tom Percy QC. So good luck to Tom, and also Pete. And I think Sharon's involved as well on her birthday week. Shayne, it'd be a fitting time to win for Curate's Egg.
Well, I think Pedro's already said he's heading out tonight to Leaderville, so obviously they'll be tuned in somewhere to watch the race.
Oh, it's Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night.
That's all right. That's all right. They probably will be on Saturday, though, as well. Beautiful. So there we have it. Thank you there. What about you? Have you got anything from a kennel perspective for the punters for this week? I think we head to Mandurah Tuesday, don't we?
Yeah, we've got to wait till Tuesday. Shorty race 9, number 1, Ripper Moses. Had a very fast trial yesterday morning after the meeting was abandoned on Wednesday, and up to the 488, much better suited. And like I said, really just come on from this trip away to Adelaide. So looking forward to seeing him go around on Tuesday night.
What race was it again?
9.
Race 9, number 1, Rippin' Moses. Have you got any scraps for the punters for this week? Anything left over that you haven't touched on yet?
Got a few scraps, Shorty. Race 8, number 6, Geelong tonight, Amaron Bobby. He's had 2 starts for 2 wins. Actually watched this dog in Adelaide on his debut. He went 22.35 over the 400. He stepped up to the 460 last week and ran 25.90. I think he's a very promising dog, trained by Brooke and Jamie Ennis. Race 8, number 6, Amaron Bobby. And just a couple of horses for tomorrow, Shorty. Race Flemington, race 10, number 4, Skybird. This horse is trained by Mitchell Freeman. Very big run first up. Second up, 2 starts, 2 wins. Very hard to beat tomorrow. And I'm going to stick with our man, Joe Pride.
Chow?
No, not Chow.
No.
He can win. Actually, Ronnie Duffy.
I'm with Chow.
I'll be back in Chow too. But Ronnie Duffy went 1 out in the quaddie.
Indeed.
That's
Why wouldn't you?
That's $6, $6.50. Yeah, so I'm going to be backing him as well. But race 7, number 2, think about it, Shorty, was the Everest winner last year. He hasn't got a slot yet, and I've heard Joe Pride on radio say this horse is ready to rock and roll. He will need to run well to get a slot, so he's about 440 or 460. I'll be having something on the Joe Pride double tomorrow at Randwick.
Of course you will. Now, having a look towards this weekend, I've taken the treble, and you can play along if you've got a TABtouch account. If you miss one leg, money back up to $50. Race Flemington, race 4, number 4, Delici Boulevard, Hoolim, Dooley. Go back and watch this run last time out. Horse looking for ground, going places, should be very hard to beat. On to Randwick, race 9, number 7, Chelwolf. And then we go to Kalgoorlie and take the shorty. Race 3, number 4, Secret Attraction. $21.93 punters, that multi this weekend. I'll be taking the big multi, I'll be taking the doubles, and then I'll be taking the all-up place with those 3. Should have a good night on Saturday night if they can all run well. Flemington race 4, number 4, Delisi Boulevard. Randwick race 9, number 7, Chelwolf. Kalgoorlie race 3, number 4, Secret Attraction. Good luck to everyone getting involved there. That is nearly all. Train, probably time now just for the very best of the weekend. What are you doing there?
Yeah, well, I need to get some money back, and I'm going to have a 2-leg all up tonight and tomorrow night. Tonight, race 13, number 3, Tweak Freak win into tomorrow night. Mandurah race 10, number 1, Aussie Bluff is my all up for $100. Thanks, Shorty, and I really need to hit the board desperately because it's getting a bit out of hand now.
Brutal.
These leaders are skipping away. It's like we're at the valley. They've come off the bend and they've kicked away, and we're out the back under the bat. So
I'm dead set. I'm just absolutely looking for binoculars to find them. It's appalling.
You're that far behind, you can't hear the band playing.
What band? What band? Is there a
Kid
concert?
Leroy.
Is there a concert on? Is somewhere?
Kid Leroy.
Anybody? Oh my God. Yep. Okay. So for this weekend, what I will be doing is taking a multi with race 7, number 4 on Saturday night.
6 legs?
No, just 2 in and out. 7-4 Sunset Comanche, 10-1 Aussie Bluff.
Yeah,
lead all the way.
like that.
Aussie Bluff. I like that. Sunset Comanche, winning machine over the trip. Aussie Bluff, bang, ping win. Like it. So 7-4, 10-1 for me there on Saturday night. Train, it's been a big addition. A huge thanks to all of our guests, and in particular Jodie Jennings, a great man in a great lady in our local industry who's taken the time to join us, as well as all the other fellas that have been with us throughout the course of the show. We're on again next week, and then we'll have a week away with both of us away for the $1 Million Chase and also the Everest for a bit of a break. We'll miss that week, but before that, we'll have winners galore to be found for the punters next week.
We've had some big names, haven't we, on the podcast, and none bigger than probably the last 2. But we thank everyone that comes on. We try to make it very enjoyable and fun and have a laugh, and that's what it's all about. Don't take it too serious.
No, that's it. And enjoy it. And, of course, as always, bet responsibly, but make sure you're doing it with TABtouch, because that means we can come back and do it again for you next week.
I have a little joke before you fire your one off.
Okay. Fire away.
I want to see if K-Man gives me the thumbs up when I get through this one. All right.
Just hold on too, just because if you like your cricket, tune in to TAB Radio this afternoon. We've got Ashton Turner, the Scorchers skipper, will be joining us later on today live on TAB Radio. So make sure you tune in there, Train. Now, fire away. What do you got for us?
It's Little Johnny joke.
Uh-oh.
Little Johnny's neighbour had a baby. Unfortunately, the baby was born without any ears. When the mother and newborn come home from the hospital, Johnny's family was invited over to see the new baby. Before they left the house, little Johnny's dad had a talk with him and explained that the baby had no ears. His dad also told him that if he so much mentioned anything about the baby's missing ears, he would get the smacking of his life when they returned home. Little Johnny told his dad he understood completely. When little Johnny looked in the crib, he said, "What a beautiful baby." The mother replied, "Why, thank you, Johnny." Johnny said he has beautiful little feet, beautiful little hands, a cute nose, and really beautiful eyes. Can he see all right? Yes, the mother replied. We are thankful. The doctor said he has 20/20 vision. That's great, said little Johnny, because he'd be stuffed if he needed glasses.
Because he's got no Britney Spears. He's got no Britney Spears.
It's a bit long. But...
Oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Now, I was walking past a restaurant last night, and there was a sign in the window that said, "Order anything you want, and if we don't have it, we'll pay you $500. So I went in and ordered some sliced giraffe balls on wheat bread. A short while later, the head waiter returned with a cheque for $500. He said, "It looks like today is your lucky day. We ran out of wheat bread." Very nice, punters. Thank you for your time here today on the Jet Set podcast. All the very best over the weekend. Wishing you all many winners. Make sure you tune in, and make sure you tell your friends and family all about it. If they like a punt on the dogs, make sure you tune in to the TABtouch Jet Set podcast. Appreciate your company. Have a ripper weekend. We'll catch you again this time next week.
All the best.
Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Be sure to share and retweet the show to help grow our community. Into 'em, punters.